Hello, welcome to SU Wolf. Today the topic is softeners, and you might be thinking, what exactly is it, like a softie, or what is it? The softeners? Are you trying to make something soft? It's just nothing like that. It's just a term that we're using that in a conversation. That if you're using something, if you're asking some questions that are difficult questions, or they're kind of intrusive questions, so you have to make sure that you ask in such a way that the person is comfortable asking them. So I'll give you an example. So once I got a feedback from someone that I can ask someone any question, and they won't feel bad about it without making like someone feel bad about it. And it's kind of from the context of some customer service, but here's the I was this is something that softeners come into being. So sometimes what happens is, whether you're in sales situation or in customer service, you need to ask the questions to help people and to solve their problems. But what happens is, if you directly bluntly ask those questions, the people, they might not like it, and it is not always easy. So suppose if you're doing something related to mortgage, if you're trying to sell mortgage, refinancing or something like that, so you need to ask someone the question that, okay, do you have a mortgage right now, or how much are you paying as your interest on the mortgage, and those kind of questions. But if you ask them directly to someone, it is kind of it becomes, you can first try that asking to someone, and you can just see what their reaction is. They'll be kind of offended if you just ask them like that, and you don't set up a right context for it. So there are two ways to go about it. One is the one I saw in one of Jordan Belfort's training is, he kind of has a casual approach, and he just asks in a matter of fact way, like a friend. He's asking, so hey, yo, what do you think that what is your mortgage? What is the mortgage you're paying right now? I think it's a very bad accent. Sorry, but he just asked it directly in a matter of fact, casual way to person, like a friend, and that person answers it. It does not make it very complicated, and he just asks the person casually in a nice tone. That is one way. And the other way that I'm going to tell you is using softeners. So this kind of in a way that if you're kind of in a hostile situation, or you're dealing with someone where the emotions are high, it might not always be possible to ask someone in a casual way. So here's what's where softeners come in, and yeah, that approach that he uses is good, and it is correct, and I think it should be used. It has the correct time for it, but sometimes it cannot be used. For that is where softeners come in. So what it does is, you're trying to ask a question. So when you're asking someone a question, it is something that is deep or personal. First thing you have to do is, you have to slow down and ask it in a way that you yourself are kind of hesitant of answering asking the question in a way that, if I ask someone that, suppose I'm selling a life insurance, and a lot of times it can be difficult for someone that to ask someone that who has died, what will happen if you die, and do you have any insurance for your loved ones, or do you already have insurance, life insurance, and do you have a plan for what will happen if something happens to you, or the main source of income. So those are kind of difficult questions to ask people. So if you use something that you are kind of hesitant in a way to answer the question, and you slow it down, and you calibrate along to the person while he's thinking, and you ask them, instead of saying, so Suppose the person is Richard. So I asked him, so Richard, do you have any plan for when you die, and what will happen to your family once you die? And do you have any insurance plan on it? And what is your plan for your kids and wife if you die? And this is kind of very bad if you ask them in this way, and the person will probably tell you to get out of that place, or they will be very uncomfortable if you ask them in such a way. And the other way is, I ask them, okay, so Richard, I have a question for you, and if you can, please tell me so that I can give you a solution here. So first, if it is comfortable with you, can you please tell me that do you have any life insurance or a plan on you in case of any situation that might not be the ideal situations, or in any emergency that it is kind of not ideal, but it is still better than those kind of things. And if you think I'm slowing down because I am hesitant, or I cannot speak fast, I think you're wrong. That is not the reason why I'm doing this. I'm only doing this because I have to make sure and see how this reaction goes, so that I can change it according to someone's expression, or how they are reacting. So that is the reason, and slowing down helps me to make sure that if there's something like if he gets uncomfortable on the topic, I can immediately soften it, or I can just change the question directly, or steer the conversation into a different direction. So that is how you soften something if you're asking a question. And see, the other thing is, the other approach would be just not to ask the question. But the thing is, if you are in those kind of situations, you have to ask those questions. You cannot make a sale, you cannot refinance their mortgage without knowing that what are they paying right now, or you cannot sell someone an insurance without asking those certain questions, and because someone would have to underwrite those and those kind of things. So you have to qualify them also. So those kind of questions are necessary. But a lot of people, what they do is, when they're calling, suppose I'll give you a very bad example of when people do it. So those telecallers, when they call you, they directly call you, and without anything, they just ask you, I recently got a call, and they just called and said, do you have a car right now? So but and I was like very confused. Why is some random person calling and asking me, do I have a car right now? And so I was like, okay, why are you asking me this question? That person then later responded that we have some kind of website where you can sell cars, or are you looking to sell cars? He then asked me. Then I told him no, I was not. So this is an example of someone asking a question that is, they have not used softeners, and they have not set the right context and using this. So how they could have used, if they used softeners, this is how they could have gone. So once they had on me on the phone, so they could have first stated their purpose, so that I could know that they're calling me regarding this. So they're from this so and so car selling website, or car marketplace, those kind of things. And it is not bad. If you might be thinking that telling me straight away that they are from something, I might cut their call, and that is correct. But instead of that, at least those that person who sells the call, who ends the call, I would not have wasted their time and my time. And this is kind of, I would not be hiding behind something or those kind of things. So I'm stating my purpose clearly, that I'm calling from so and so company, and I would like to know, because we have this marketplace and we offer very good deals on reselling of the cars. I would like to know if on the market do you have any car that is available with you that you want to sell, resell, or sorry, not resell. You would like to sell, or you'd like to buy some second-hand cars. So those can be better. You would have first set the context before you're doing this. If you notice, I did not change any questions from what they've asked. They also asked me that would I like to resell my car. I also here asked what I would like to resell the car, and instead of hiding behind that, do you have a car or do you want to resell your car, directly in the first question, where a person, yes, it is of course for the person would be shocked, or at least for they would have got their attention but in a wrong way. So that is the reason why this kind of thing doesn't work. And softeners here I used, so suppose I'll give you another example. So suppose you uh, you were expecting a parcel from your favorite e-commerce store, and you call the guy there and you're very angry that it was supposed to be delivered and those kind of things. And that is the other person on the end. I'm giving example from their perspective to help you track your package or tell you what is wrong with this. The person would need to know what is the number of your package, or they need to know that what had you ordered, or the dates or something like that, to get some information, because they have a large amount of things going on. So that person, if they directly ask you that tell me this number specific, these kind of details, those kind of scenarios, people do get angry if you directly ask them bluntly those kind of question, even though this is necessary. So in those situations also, when someone is irate, you need to use softeners to first calm them down, or you need to understand and set a context regarding why they are giving this information, and what is the reason why they're providing this information. And the other thing is, sometimes you just need to use certain words, like maybe for example, or the other example for the insurance is, a lot of times I temporarily joined there in insurance. I had some training, I did not actually go through it, but one of the things he told me that stuck with me is, he told that person in this trainings that whenever you're trying to sell the insurance, you have to first take it away from them. If it's some kind of situation that the person is dying, or any mishap or accident, you directly don't tell it directly on that person that happened to them. So you can use something like quotations, or like something that happened to my friend, or that example person, or it happened to me. That is better. If it has already happened to you, it is good that you can use it as an example, or sometimes it's not applicable. So you can use an example of, it happened to my so and so friend or person, that this so and so scenario happened. So if you put it in a form of a story, or if you take it away from this person, and if you describe it in a imaginary scenario or a third person context, then it becomes easier for that person to answer. And you can use it in any way. So suppose I'll tell you the example of insurance. So you can say that recently I had a friend who was in his 30s or 40s, and he had an accident uh, due to which he could no longer work, or had some leg injury. Because of it, he could not perform, or had those kind of situations. So, but luckily, he had a disability insurance which helped him. So that's the kind of softening, rather than using something in the language of, suppose one day that you have an accident and you can no longer provide, and those kind of things. Instead of directly confronting the person that way, this is kind of a better situation. So this is another example of softness. So that is how you can use it. So basic context remains same. You have to take that directly away from the person, in the sense that you have to explain it to them in a situation, so that they can understand in a way that their emotions are not directly involved, or you can set the right context in which you're asking those questions. And you can ask them respectfully and as a matter of fact way, that why you are asking something. And you can make sure that you let them know that you understand this is a kind of a difficult question. You too are hesitant, but you need the answer for this question. And those kind of if they understand that it's coming from a place of respect and care from them, care for and understanding, I think you'll be in a better position to ask those questions with them. That's all. I think it was a long podcast, but it's an important topic for this persuasion. So make sure you master this concept, because it's a very good skill in arguments and discussions also. And it is kind of an underrated thing. A lot of people don't talk about it as often, but I found it to be very useful. So that's all. This is Arun from SE Wolf signing out.